Good morning, Santa Clarita. Welcome in. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. This is SCVI Charter Schools Eye on the Valley Homeschooling Answers. I'm Matt Watson, your host. Welcome in. We are also here on Facebook Live, so if you've got your computer or your phone handy and you prefer to listen to us on Facebook, you can actually watch us here on the Facebook Live feed. Just search KHTS Radio and you will find the feed right here. Welcome in. It's good to hear from you, or good to see you. Glad that you're all here. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. Looks like we got through the rain, so that is good. That is exciting. We've had a lot of updates, and things continue to move and evolve as we follow the Corona-19 pandemic. Our mayor and other local and state officials have asked that we cover up. And so if my voice sounds a little bit different today, it's because I've got this mask between me and the microphone. I think it's working okay. It's comfortable, although my upper lip's getting a little sweaty. No one on a Facebook Live can tell. So while our campuses are closed and our students are at home, which they are back, by the way, a lot of the area students were on spring break this last week, but they are back at their distance learning routine and program. KHTS, in collaboration with SCVI and iLead Schools, brings you this special edition of Eye on the Valley Homeschooling Answers. We are here to support what you are doing, to be there for you and work with you as you work with your kids, maintaining the growth and the learning, making sure that everybody continues to do what they need to do, as we all do what we need to do from home. We're also here to help you take care of you, because as my friend Christina told us a couple of weeks ago, we need to make sure that our own masks, she was talking figuratively, but now we're talking literally, our own masks are on before we can help others out. So we want to make sure that you are doing well, that you're strong, that you're taken care of, so that you can be strong for those around you and take care of them. We come to you live each day at 9 a.m., Monday through Friday, providing support and updates for you on this new distance learning journey. And we're continually curating and adding newer resources to our website. That website is homeschoolinganswers.com, and there you will hopefully find everything that you need, be it for a particular grade level, subject area, domain. We've got tips for parents. We're constantly posting because there are different partner organizations that are putting on free webinars. In fact, we'll be talking about another one of those free webinars a little bit later on today. But hopefully we've got the resources that you need at homeschoolinganswers.com. There's a lot out there, and a lot of companies are really stepping up in this time, but it can be a little bit difficult to weed through, which resources is right for my child and their age and their experience. And so we've got our curriculum experts from the iLead Maker team and the Maker Learning Network. They're curating these resources and really helping you weed through everything to get to what is really pithy and will help your kids continue to move forward. So if you don't find the resources that you need there, let us know. Shoot us an email at homeschoolinganswers@ileadschools.org. Homeschoolinganswers@ileadschools.org. Let us know what you need, and we will get on it right away. Well, we do have a great show today. We've got another exciting week. Coming up later this week, we'll get our weekly update from Mayor Cameron Smythe. I'm sure he's going to have a lot to say tomorrow when we talk with him, as well as an update from Sulphur Springs School District Superintendent Catherine Kawaguchi. We'll be checking in with Mortgage Advisor Fred Arnold and Director of Santa Clarita Recreation and Community Services, Janine Prado, and the two of them will help us keep track of the status on our homes and our parks and all the other important resources here in and around our valley. We'll be diving deep into math with Amber Soto, Director of Mathematics Instruction at iLead Schools. We're also going to be visited by several leaders from College of the Canyons starting today, as a matter of fact, to talk to us about how things are going over there, including, and I don't want to jinx it, but we are working to get the Distinguished Chancellor of COC, Diane Van Hook. We'll also have our valuable daily features to keep you fueled as you parent and are a new distance learning teacher with our show's official licensed marriage and family therapist, Christina, and our daily tips to help you maintain a strong and healthy family, academic program, and a strong and healthy you while we all remain safer at home. Today is a busy day. Our curriculum focus today is PE. It's quickly becoming the most neglected but most important of the 5 basics. We'll be talking to local PE teacher Michaela James from La Mesa Junior High. She's here to bust our butts, and we'll continue working on, in fact, wrapping up our study on Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People with you. You guessed it, habit number 8 of the 7. 8 of the 7. How does that work? Well, we'll talk about that in just a few minutes. We'll also kick off our collaboration with our friends from COC, as I mentioned before. And I also want to ask our licensed marriage and family therapist, Christina DeBray, I want to ask her about something curious that I've noticed going around lately, something that is starting to bubble up that has me a little bit concerned. This kind of epidemic of kind of light depression. My kids would call it low-key depression, or that little Debbie Downer syndrome. So let's do this. We got a lot to talk about, a lot of important things, and let's jump right in. Are you guys ready to get your heart rates up? My first guest always keeps it active. She's a local girl who graduated from Golden Valley High School. While there, she excelled on the soccer pitch. After graduation, she chose Doane University in Nebraska, well known for their athletics and their school of education, perfect for Michaela. She graduated from Doane and became a PE teacher back home in Awesome Town at La Mesa Junior High, where she continues to teach. She and her family stay very active as they travel and play together. She was also a regional finalist for Auntie of the Year 3 years in a row, nominated all 3 times by her adorable nephew, Carson. She is Michaela James. Michaela, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Of course, I'm glad you're able to join us today. So, Michaela, you teach PE at La Mesa, and we'll get to that in just a minute. My regular listeners know that I'm a sports nut, and so anytime I can get a sports angle, I take it. I'm aware of your illustrious soccer career, and I know you were quite active on the pitch, as I mentioned in your intro. Did you play any other sports?
Well, growing up, I dabbled in some sports, trying to find my niche. Played a little bit of basketball, some t-ball, but ultimately soccer has been my number one since I was 4 years old.
Yeah, I was really strong at t-ball myself, but I aged out when I was 16. They said, you got to move on, man. So that is fantastic. Yeah, and so you played soccer in high school. Did you play it at Doane as well?
Yes, yeah. So I played club my whole life, played at Golden Valley all 4 years, and then went on to play at Doane as well. And it's really, soccer has been a big part of my life, and I couldn't imagine doing anything else.
Oh, fantastic. So how long have you been at La Mesa, and what grades do you teach?
So I've been at La Mesa for 3 years. I currently teach 3 periods of 7th grade PE, and then I have 2 periods of a 7-8 split PE class.
Okay, now, when I was in junior high school, which was a long, long time ago, the PE classes were taught with the genders separated. There was boys PE, there was girls PE. Is that still the way it's done?
No, so now they're all together, boys and girls. Obviously, they still have 2 separate locker rooms.
Well, sure.
But no, we teach both boys and girls in one class.
Okay, very cool, very cool. So, talk to me about what you're doing now, because your kids aren't coming to you. You're not, having them do their calisthenics right there in front of you. So, how are you handling your instruction now? Are you sending just suggestions for your families, or are you sending automatic messages every 6 hours saying, all right, kids, it's time to take a lap? Or are you actually conducting classes online?
Right. So we are actually conducting classes online. Our PE department at La Mesa really wanted our overall goal to be kids staying active, especially in a time when health is of the utmost importance. We really wanted to emphasize staying active, even though you're at home, quarantined. So what we've been doing is having kids fill out fitness logs.
Okay.
And within those fitness logs, kids are required to do 20 to 30 minutes of exercise Monday through Friday. And they can be any type of exercise that they want as long as they are staying active. So, that could be playing tag in the backyard. It could be riding a bike. Kicking the ball against the fence, walking your dog, anything like that, we count as exercise and being active. And then on top of those fitness logs, me and the other PE teachers at La Mesa are putting together videos weekly. And those videos weekly have a different theme throughout. So one week, we focused on a specific body part. like upper body, lower body, core, and we give you exercises for those different body parts. And then the following week, we would do different ways you can exercise with things found in and around your home. So that means, using water bottles as weights or canned food, using, furniture that you find in your house as a way to exercise, or using chalk and tape to draw an exercise ladder on your concrete in your backyard. So the teachers are doing the videos and then posting them for the kids so that they can see their teacher actually doing the exercises with them. And the kids can do that and then add that to their fitness log.
Well, that's fantastic. So it's not just that the kids are getting the reminder to, if you look at it from the lens of maybe another one of the academic areas, they're not just getting their daily practice, they're also getting direct instruction on how to up their game and how to do things that might be a little bit more adaptive for their current situation. So they maybe can't get in the weight room, but they can bench their sleeper sofa, huh?
Right, exactly.
That is fantastic. Very cool. So we've got a lot of families listening. And as I mentioned to you before we came on, today is actually day one of distance learning for some of our families. I know some of the school districts took a pause and took a couple of weeks to get their teachers trained on Google Classrooms and other platforms. And so the families that are listening might be struggling a little bit with keeping their kids active. I know the temptation, especially last week with the rain, the temptation for kids is to stay inside, maybe stay on screens a little bit longer than we as parents are comfortable with. But it is very, very important, as you said, to be active. It's funny. About a week ago, a friend of mine posted on social media, "So what about you? Have you gained 10 pounds yet?" And I commented very joyfully, "No, not 10 pounds. I've only gained 6 pounds today. I'm doing good." So it's really important that we stay active. Now, the families that are listening to us, Michaela, are, obviously they run the gamut. So let's start with the age of kids that you work with, and then maybe you can break things down a little bit, give suggestions to our parents. So let's start where, like, right in your wheelhouse with the middle schoolers. What kind of things, other than the things that maybe you mentioned, can you recommend for our families? If there's a parent that's asking you, "Michaela, what do I do with my middle schooler? What do I do with my junior high school age kid? What do I have them do to stay active and healthy?"
Right. So especially with middle-aged students, having a set routine is big. And if you're able to stick to that routine, it becomes second nature. So maybe starting a daily routine in the morning, or maybe, when they finish all their schoolwork, then they can start, their activity or their exercise for the day. And some things they can do that might be really fun is to maybe learn a new dance. So they can go on YouTube, find, maybe some line dancing, which is part of the 7th and 8th grade curriculum, or swing dance, or one of those new TikTok dances. I think kids would love that. It's just a fun way to kind of get your heart rate up and your body moving, so you're not just sitting down looking at a screen.
Yeah, definitely. I think you're right. I think routine is key. If you're doing your exercise at different times every day, then you might not develop that routine. But if it's first thing when you wake up, or right after lunch, or what have you, just whenever, if it's the same time and every day, then that's the key to continuing to it and building success. I think you're right. Now, what about as they get older? So the kids that have moved on, they're in high school, they're a little bit more independent, and oftentimes, especially in the subject area of PE, parents can take our hands off a little bit, it seems, but not always. I've got a high school senior who needs that encouragement to get outside and get a little bit more exercise. So do you have anything that we can do with our kids that are a little bit more independent and can do it on their own, but we still need to encourage them to do something? What advice would you give to parents of high schoolers?
Yeah, definitely. I think coming up with kind of a full body workout would be ideal for high schoolers, especially, a lot of those kids are in sports or activities, and they have a basic knowledge of what that would entail. But like I said, YouTube is always a great resource to find maybe, different workouts that maybe specialize in different areas. Maybe you want to work the arms one day, so you do several workouts or several different exercises for the arms. The next day you do the legs, next day the core, really pinpointing those muscle groups. And, because they're high schoolers, they like you said, they have a little bit more independence. So if you're able to, go for a short walk or run around the block, that's always a great way to get fresh air, and it helps clear the mind when you're able to get outside and, just focus on you.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you were talking, I think you're right. Kids are a little bit more autonomous, and we can have them develop that routine on YouTube, maybe learn a new style of exercise, whether it's yoga or Pilates or what have you. This might also be a great time for the parents of our older kids to really bond with them. I'm looking at being an empty nester soon as my senior's looking to head off to college, and this might be a great opportunity for us to start exercising together, right?
Yes, and I love that you mentioned yoga. Yoga is a great stress reliever. It really helps with stretching and becoming more flexible, so that would be a great tool, especially for the high schoolers.
Absolutely. Now, this might stretch you a little bit. Let's go down to our youngest kids, the kids that we don't feel comfortable with, sending to take a jog or ride their bikes alone. How would you advise parents of the littles to make sure that they're staying healthy and exercising and staying fit?
Right. So games are a great way to get the young kids interested and active. I know they have a lot of energy to burn being cooped up in the house all day.
Right.
So if you have a backyard playing tag or freeze tag, even musical chairs would be a fun idea. I've also one of my fellow PE teachers at La Mesa had a really great idea of doing a virtual walk, which I think elementary kids would love, where you pick a place. She picked the Ventura Pier, and you calculate the distance between where you're at and the Ventura Pier and the mileage, and you kind of calculate how many steps that would be for the amount of miles. And you count the number of steps you do throughout the day, and it might take several days, but it's kind of a challenge within the family to see who would reach Ventura Pier first by the number of steps you take daily.
What a great idea, and that's a great cross-curricular connection. You activate the math. You can also talk about social studies and where the Ventura Pier is and what we can do when we quote-unquote get there. What a fantastic idea. You turn your daily exercise into a project. That is terrific.
Right.
All right, fantastic. Now, last question. Last week threw us a kind of a curveball with the rain all day. So is there any adaptations that you can recommend when we can't even get outside into our backyard or get out to ride the bikes?
Right. So staying indoors, like I said, using things that you have in and around your house. So using water bottles as weights to really get that exercise in. Focusing on your core, your abdomen work. You never need a weight for that. You just lay on the floor and you go through, you can do crunches, sit-ups, planks. And, the exercises are virtually endless with what you can do, and you don't need any equipment for that.
Yep.
And so that's really what I recommend to do if you're not able to get outside because of the weather.
And, some of us have so much core that just putting on our shoes gets our heart rate up. It's great. Michaela, I want to thank you so much. I really appreciate Shane's over here making fun of me. I thank you for your time. I really do appreciate it. And keep it up. It is so important, not only for our kids, but our families, to make sure that everybody is staying active, avoiding, staving off that cabin fever and staying healthy while we're kind of adjusting to this new normal that we're in. So again, thanks so much for your time. Keep it up. We are going to take a short commercial break. So Michaela and I want you to all do 25 burpees while you listen to these ads from our sponsors. Do stay tuned. Coming up, we're talking habit number 8, and later today we'll be talking to community college. We'll be talking community college with Associate Vice President of Academic Affairs and Associate Vice President of Enrollment Services from COC, and our show's official licensed marriage and family therapist, Christina DeBray. For more information on how COVID-19 is affecting our valley, go to hometownstation.com and click on the red banner. There you'll find tips on the economy, health updates, special business hours, and much, much more. That's hometownstation.com. You're listening to SCVI Charter Schools Eye on the Valley, Homeschooling Answers. I'm your host, Matt Watson, on your hometown station, KHTS.
Town Cleaners on Soledad is offering free dry cleaning for all first responders and medical personnel. Free pickup and delivery is also available. Call Mo at 250-1542. 250-1542. Town Cleaners on Soledad.
Comfort Keepers provides your loved one with loving in-home care.
Miles McNamara, certified senior advisor and owner of Comfort Keepers in-home care.
Our caregivers can help you in your own home, enhancing independence, creating safety and comfort. Our Comfort Keepers provide companionship, meal preparation, medication reminders, assistance with personal care, and even transportation to doctor's appointments. If someone you love can use a helping hand at home, visit comfortkeepers.com.
Or call 287-4200.
Santa Clarita, bedbugs are taking over our city. They've invaded our homes, our businesses, and most importantly, our sleep. If you have suspicious bites that appear nightly, or have a bug that you need ID'd, your best option is to make one call to All Pro. We offer a 100% guarantee that your bedbug issues will be solved with heat in one treatment. No need to tent or spray your house with chemicals. Heat is all you need. Call 661-298-2200 or text me a bug picture to 661-645-0540. It's time to sleep tight again, SCV.
Save water and save money. SCV Water wants to help you find your fit and take advantage of conservation rebate programs that will help you save. Water your landscape more efficiently. Replace your lawn with water-wise plants. Conduct free in-home water surveys. Cover your swimming pool and more. Find the programs that fit your needs and start saving today. Visit conserve.yourscvwater.com to learn more.
That's conserve.yourscvwater.com.
At SCVI, we don't just prepare your child for the real world. We empower them to imagine and build the world they want for themselves. Our tuition-free TK-12 charter school combines project-based learning with extracurriculars from robotics to theater to sports to give your child boundless opportunities to explore who they are. Located just off the 5 freeway in West Santa Clarita Valley, SCVI has the only international baccalaureate program in the area. For enrollment information, including open enrollment options, visit ileadsantaclarita.org.
Hi, this is Pastor Rusty from Real Life Church with a minute of encouragement. Remember that game we used to play on the playground where we'd hit the ball around the pole? We called it tetherball. Everything worked great until somebody hit the ball so hard it just unhinged from the rope. Doesn't it feel like our culture and even our world is in that right now? With coronavirus making us wonder about our economy, our work, even our personal freedom, it just feels like we have nothing to put our faith in anymore. That's why I love the words of Jesus, who says, "Whoever puts their trust in me is like a man who builds his house on the rock. When the storms come, the winds will not destroy him." Friends, if you're wondering right now how we're going to do this, we're going to do this the way that we do anything, and that is we're going to get through this together. Put your hope in the rock.
If you would like prayer, text the word prayer to 661-270-7788.
Accidents happen, but rest assured Patterson's Collision Center is here to help. Patterson's is a family-owned and operated collision repair facility providing the Santa Clarita Valley with premium collision repairs. Patterson's prides itself on being the only California-certified green repair shop in all of Santa Clarita. They are insurance claim specialists and even offer payment plans for your deductible. For personalized, friendly service, visit pattersonscollisioncenter.com or call 294-1011 and let Patterson's Collision Center help ease your worries today.
Your hometown station.
KHTS is the only station I listen to.
98.1 FM and AM 1220.
Welcome back. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 on the FM dial and 1220 AM. You can also find us on Facebook Live. Just go to Facebook and search for KHTS Radio, and there we are in studio. Good to have you. I'm Matt Watson. This is SCVI Charter School's Eye on the Valley Homeschooling Answers. As I mentioned before the break, we are wrapping up this week with Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Successful People today. If I were to ask you, how many of you want to be successful? I know all of you would raise your hands, right? We all want to be successful. And if I asked how many of you are successful or are on your way to success, I think most of you would probably still keep your hands up. But if I asked how many of you are actually highly successful people, not just successful, highly successful, or on your way to it, how many of you would still keep your hands up? You know, that's a little bit intimidating. It's easier to say, yeah, I think I'm being successful or I'm on my way to success, but I don't know that I'm on my way to high levels of success. And that's where we're looking to go, okay? So that's what Stephen Covey proposed to us back in 1989 when he published his book, is that roadmap, not to success, but high levels of success. Okay? How many of you don't want to experience high levels of success, right? We all want to be successful. And we all dream about being highly successful. Again, Covey proposes that doesn't have to be just a dream. He gives us the roadmap. Okay? So let's recap. His book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, was published in 1989. It's been translated now into 40 different languages and sold over 30 million copies worldwide. Covey studied history's most successful people and identified the habits that they have in common. So we study these habits and we try to develop them in ourselves and also in our kids, right? Because we want to lay out those habits early on to develop a life of high success, right? So let's sum up briefly what we've discussed over the last couple of weeks. The first 3 habits are all about building independence. It's all about making me a better me. Habit 1, be proactive, planning our time, taking responsibility and initiative. The key is that you are in charge of you. Don't be a victim. Don't let life happen to you. Don't make excuses. Take control of the things that you can, and don't stress out over the things that you can't control. Okay? You're in charge of you. Be proactive. Habit number 2 is beginning with the end in mind. Figure out what you want, whether it's this week, today, this year, this life, long-term, mid-range, short-term. Figure out what you want. Envision what high levels of success looks like, and then build the path from where you are today to that highly successful life. Habit number 3 is putting first things first, prioritizing your tasks where you spend your time, okay? We looked at Eisenhower's matrix of importance versus urgency. Take a look at that matrix. It's very simple, and then you can analyze each of your tasks, and you can even analyze how you spent your time today, okay? So did you spend your time in quadrant 3? That's where we should be living. Or were you way down in quadrant 4, and you know, you're struggling with things that are really kind of on fire, those things that are super urgent. We want to stay away from those things and work on the things that are highly important but not yet urgent, right? Planning for the future, developing things, continuing to improve ourselves, okay? Like I said, those first 3 habits are about building independence. As I implement habits 1, 2, and 3, I'm working on myself. I'm making me a better me. These next 3 habits are all about interdependence, how we can work better with others to improve what we do, okay? Habit 4 is thinking win-win. We hear this a lot. This is the creative, thoughtful process of working to find solutions that benefit both sides of a situation to the maximum level. It's different than compromise, where we each get half of what we want, right? Thinking win-win is how we can both get everything that we need, okay? Habit 5 is seeking first to understand, then to be understood. Most of us listen with the intent to reply. When someone's talking to us, we're listening thinking about what we're going to say next, right? But instead, we should be listening with the intent to truly understand and emphasize. Then you can share, right? And you can probably share a little bit more poignantly and a little bit more to the point because you've truly understood what the other person had to say. Habit number 6 is synergize. I always want to high five myself when I say that. Synergize. Synergy is the idea that 1 + 1 can equal 3, 10, 100, 1,000. Our work improves exponentially as we collaborate with others, okay? So when I work with you, it's not that we double our productivity, but the ideas that you have spurs new ideas in me. And the ideas that we've had, even when we land on maybe my idea was the best or your idea was the best, but we still make them better as we work together and collaborate. So we synergize, okay? Good is the enemy of great. The easiest way to make things great is to get others involved. Okay, so that's interdependence, those last 3 habits. And then habit number 7 has to do with continuous growth, sharpening the saw. That's balance between and renewal of resources, okay? So we maintain balance in our life, we renew our resources, we sharpen that saw. Habit 7 emphasizes the balance between 4 areas. Physical renewal through exercise, like Michaela just spoke with us last break about. There's mental renewal through personal growth, such as reading, studying, and other development. You know, I've decided during this time I'm gonna take a university online history course to continue to polish myself that way and renew myself mentally. That's kind of the way I'm gonna unwind and sharpen my saw. Then there's spiritual renewal through any combination of prayer, meditation, yoga, service to society, whatever renews your spirit and soul. Okay? And then the 4th, of course, is work and how we continue to improve ourselves at work. So physical, mental, spiritual, and professional, we need to make sure that we've got balance. Now, when Covey wrote about the 7 habits, he explained the upward spiral, a continual upward journey through each of the previous 6 habits, each time going to a new level. So once we've kind of mastered those 6 habits and we develop balance in our life through habit 7, then we kind of go back and continue to spiral upward, and we get better at thinking win-win. We get better at being proactive. We continue to cycle up. But about 15 years after he published the 7 habits, he published another book called The 8th Habit. And it's funny because I work at a place that uses the 7 habits as our very foundation. And at work, we're currently even doing a book study, a lot of the leaders in our organization, on the book, The 8th Habit. And many people I know are very familiar with the 8th habit, yet when you ask people what the 8th habit is, you're going to get one of 2 different answers. It's funny, when you ask, what's habit number 1? Everybody knows it's be proactive. What's habit number 7? It's sharpen the saw. Everybody knows. But when you ask what's habit number 8, you get one of 2 answers. Some people will tell you that the 8th habit is going from good to great. And why wouldn't you want to do that, right? That sounds like a great habit to develop, taking good and going to great, moving it on. Others will tell you that habit number 8 is finding your voice and helping others find theirs. Well, this is just me talking. This isn't Stephen Covey, but I'm here to say that that in this perspective, those 2 things are one and the same. Okay, habit 8 is finding your voice and helping others find theirs, which is going from good to great. Okay, remember the levels. Habits 1, 2, 3, independence. Habits 4, 5, 6, interdependence. Habit 7, balance. The 4th level is cycling through that cycle again, like Covey referenced in the 7th habit, but taking others with us. Okay, now that you've become highly successful, it's incumbent upon you to take others with you. All right, whether it's one by one or groups at a time. Because remember, we are a social and collaborative society. The greatest level of success is taking other people with you. So this week, we're going to take a little bit of a deep dive on habit number 8, because you can't practice habit 8 without rocking the other 7, right? So we keep working on all 7 as we strive for habit 8, but you know, you guys are awesome. So we're going to go deeper, right? We're going to master those 7. We're going to keep working on them to get better and better at them each day, becoming more independent, becoming more interdependent, becoming more and more balanced. But we're going to continue to start taking people with us, start encouraging others, rather than being that dead weight that others have to drag along, right? So that's what we're all about. Come on, we can do this together, but only together. Now, a great way to phrase this for your kids, especially your youngest ones, is reminding them that habit number 8 is finding their voice, okay? And maybe you remind them of this mantra. I found something that I'm good at and I really like doing it. I'm proud, but I do not boast. Instead, I use my expertise to help and inspire others. And you can apply that to any area where they've developed talent, whether it's writing or artistic talents or a game that they're good at or anything like that. You have them remind themselves, I've found something that I'm good at and really like doing. I'm proud, but I do not boast. Instead, I use my expertise to help and inspire others. So important. So what we're going to do, like I said, is we're going to take a deep dive on habit 8. We're going to study this and talk about some examples, because it really is important once we start to succeed that we start bringing others along with us. I want to just give you an example, maybe two if we have time. I didn't wait until I developed any kind of expertise or greatness to start moving this along. And it's not to blow my own horn. It's actually to avoid kind of a frustration that I experienced early in my teaching career. You know, the first year of my teaching career, I don't mind admitting, I was really, really bad at it. In fact, I didn't find out until a couple years later. My boss actually had me on the chopping block and was putting the paperwork in order to get rid of me, to move me out of the profession. And after the first year, I wasn't even sure if I wanted to come back, but I did come back for a second year, and I was not great the second year either. But during those first 2 years, I worked with an amazing teaching staff. There was a lot of great teaching and learning going on around me. And at the end of each day, my colleagues would walk by my classroom, and, you know, I was trying to disguise my teardrops with, oh, it's sweat because it's hot in here, right? I was going down in flames, and everybody knew it. And they would pop in, and they'd say, hey, how's it going? And being self-conscious, I would say, doing fine, thanks. And they'd say, okay, great, see you tomorrow. And they'd take off. Well, like I said, everybody knew I was going down in flames, and nobody sprayed the water on me. Nobody put the flames out. Nobody stepped in to hit me with that heavy blanket and try to help improve things. And it was bad news for me. It was bad news for the kids in my classroom. Until the end of my second year, someone finally stepped in and declared themselves my official mentor, and she was the one that really taught me how to teach and taught me to go not from good to great, but from miserable to not quite so miserable. And, you know, once I hit my fifth year teaching, I thought, you know, that was wrong. It wasn't okay for these experienced, excellent educators to watch me crash and burn every day and not step in and do anything about it. And so I decided I'm not going to let that happen when I see that going on around me. And so as my school was hiring new teachers, I would step in and offer what little help I could anytime I could. And I was working extra. I would talk with them after school and offer my advice, my guidance, my suggestions. And again, like I said, I wasn't great, but I was just determined, it's not right for folks that do have the answer to not share it with those that didn't. And so that's what we want to be for others. We want to be that person that's reaching out and pulling people up with us as we all grow together. Okay? So want you to find your voice, want you to help others find theirs as we talk about Habit 8 this week. We do have a couple things we need to take care of, but stick around. We'll be back for more after this. For more information on how COVID-19 is affecting our valley, go to hometownstation.com and click on the red banner. There you'll find tips on the economy, health updates, special business hours, and much, much more. That's hometownstation.com. You're listening to SCVI Charter School's Eye on the Valley, Homeschooling Answers. I'm Matt Watson on your hometown station, KHTS.
Right now, we cannot be overwhelmed. We have to work to keep our loved ones safe and protect our communities. We have to work to stay strong, to stay connected, to stay focused. We have to work to inspire, to innovate, to build new solutions. But for all of this to work, we have to work together. At ZipRecruiter, we connect employers and people every day. But today is different. We're partnering with first responders, government officials, the medical community, the innovators, and the manufacturing, transportation, and food distribution industries to make sure we're finding the right people for the right jobs right now. Let's work together. ZipRecruiter.com/work together.
Finding
Finding the right lawyer can be a challenge, but in Santa Clarita, there's no need to search when there's Hacker Law Group, Santa Clarita's premier litigation firm. Jeffrey Hacker has represented celebrities, financial institutions, accident victims, real estate developers, realtors, contractors, businesses, nonprofit organizations, and other individuals and companies with their legal challenges. Mr. Hacker is one of Santa Clarita's leaders, consistently listed as one of our most influential. When everything is on the line and you need legal counseling, visit hackerlawgroup.com.
As the stay-at-home order continues through the month of April, Burger King is committed to following state and federal safety guidelines when it comes to serving you, the customer. Although in-restaurant dining has closed, pickup and delivery service continues. The current hours are 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. You can mobile order through the BK app for pickup, or you can use any of the delivery services like DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub, and Postmates. Burger King on Lyons at the 5 Freeway, now with service at 2 drive-through windows.
Congratulations to Dave Reeves and his team at Reeves Complete Auto Center. They just celebrated their 11th year of serving the Santa Clarita Valley.
Thank you so much for choosing Reeves Complete Auto Center. I know you have plenty of choices for your car repair needs, so we appreciate you picking Reeves.
Tune-ups, brakes, transmissions, 30, 60, and 90,000-mile services, and much more. Find out about their special lifetime oil change program. Reeves Complete Auto Center on Ruther in Canyon Country. Find them online at reevesservice.com.
Please remember to support the Boys and Girls Clubs of Santa Clarita and the SCV Rotary Club.
Your hometown station, KHTS.
Welcome back. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 on the AM side. This is Matt Watson, and you're listening to Eye on the Valley, Homeschooling Answers. I was talking to my board op Shane here during the break and making sure that you guys can all still hear me clearly enough. I'm a little self-conscious about working with this mask between me and the microphone, but it sounds like things are doing okay. Please let us know if they're not coming through clearly on the other side. Go ahead and post on our Facebook Live feed. Go to Facebook, KHTS Radio, and find the banner there and let us know. Make sure that things are coming through nice and clearly. And as we continue to settle in, we talk about this new norm, although the norm is kind of moving a little bit further each day, and that's okay. That's fine. That's good. That's what we need to do to keep ourselves healthy and safe. But just like our kids at home as they're studying and doing all their things on distance learning, we've got to get used to something new every day. And so we're working through it, and Shane and I are in here, and we're staying safe and hopefully keeping those around us and in our community safe as well as we continue to socially distance and wash our hands and disinfect the surfaces here in the studio constantly so that we all can get through this as quickly as possible. Let's get back there. We need Clayton Kershaw to get out there on the bump and start that baseball season as soon as possible. So in the previous break, we talked about going from good to great and making those around us better, finding our voice and helping others find theirs. Don't wait until we finish this survey this week, though. Don't wait until we talk about it. There's always things that we can be doing to help other people out. A couple weeks ago, we talked about Fred Rogers and the wisdom of Mr. Rogers' mother, who said in times of tragedy and things that we see on the news, look for the helpers. So find those helpers, but you know what? There are a lot of folks out there that are ready to help others out. I know that a lot of you out there that can hear my voice are going through a really tough time. In fact, probably all of you at some point in your life or another, you're being affected negatively by what's going on, whether it's because you yourself or someone that you know and love is ill, or perhaps you've been affected by a slowdown at your work and you've been laid off, or your hours have been cut, or maybe things are going great for your health and your profession, but you're all of a sudden stuck at home and maybe you just can't get the food items that you need at the store. We're all being negatively affected right now, but regardless of where we're at, we can still reach out and help others, okay? Regardless of where we're at. Yes, when you need help, ask for it. Be quick to ask for it. I heard a story about an elderly lady that was in the grocery store the other day, and she was having a hard time getting what she needed. And a friend of mine recommended to her, why don't you ask your neighbors? Your neighbors will help you out. And she says, I don't want to be a burden. You know what's a burden is when you're suffering in silence. And later on, after the ill effects have really settled in, those around you think, why didn't they say something? That's what a burden is. It's never a burden to knock on your neighbor's door, or let me flip the door a little bit. It's never a burden to have your door knocked on and someone say, hey, can you help me out? I'm struggling with this or that, whether it's, I need you to carry the dog food upstairs for me, or, can I put a couple of items on your list as you go to the grocery store? Can you help me get a meal? It's never a burden for someone to reach out and ask for help, because others are there to help out. So how are you helping out? Okay? We talked about this before. Become a helper. What are you doing to lift others up and meet their needs? Okay? You may be one of those people that needs help, but you can also respond regardless of where you're at. Let's synergize, right? So connect with someone who you think might be alone, okay? And it doesn't have to be an elderly person. We may know of a single neighbor who just bought their own home, just rented their own apartment for the first time in their life, and they're living alone, and they've got no one to connect to. Connect with them. Leave them a note. Give them a call. Shoot them an email. They don't have to live next door. They can live across the country, right? If you know how to contact them, do so. Leave a nice note for your neighbor, right? Stick it in their mailbox, or use some chalk and write it on their driveway. Find something to inspire somebody on social media, right? Reach out, let others know you're here. Send them a giggle. Okay, find a way in your world, in your corner of the world, to help someone else out. Okay, so make sure that you are helping other folks out. And if you are those folks that do need help, I want to remind you that our local schools are serving free breakfast and lunch every Monday through Friday. That has not stopped, whether they're on spring break or not. At all of our SCVI and iLead schools from 9 to 11, we're distributing breakfast and lunch to any child 0 to 18 years old. You don't even need to be enrolled in our schools. At any SCVI or iLead school, just pull up with your kids in the car, get a free breakfast and lunch at Agua Dulce, at iLead Agua Dulce. That's happening from 10 to noon. They start an hour later in Agua Dulce. I know other area schools are doing something similar for our kids. And if you're not a kid, but you do need some groceries, why don't you give our friends at Santa Clarita Grocery a call? You can pull up, drop off your list. They will stock the trunk of your car for you and get you on your way. And if you're a senior, you can still get your drive-up meals or your meals delivered by Meals on Wheels. Call them at 259-9444. That's 661-259-9444. There's all different kinds of resources for our seniors at the Senior Center, so give them a call. Okay, it is time to check in with our local and national news stories and the latest updates right now. I do want you to stick around. Next hour, we'll be talking to a couple of the associate vice presidents from COC and get updated on our local Institute of Higher Education. And we'll check in with our show's official licensed marriage and family therapist, Christina DeBray. You're listening to SCVI Charter Schools Eye on the Valley, Homeschooling Answers with your host, Matt Watson, on your hometown station, KHTS.
Pastor Rusty from Real Life Church with a minute of encouragement. How are we going to deal with the coronavirus? Most of us are filled with information and ideas and stats and studies, but we're wondering, what do we do? How do we get beyond this? Well, can I give you 3 words that always help? Love, share, and give. Find ways to find creative things to give and to share, and to find ways to love and encourage people around you. Help out your neighbors by leaving some sidewalk chalk on their doorstep and saying, let's write messages to each other. Help out your friends and family by writing old-fashioned letters and encouraging them. Go by Santa Clarita Valley Grocery and drop off some canned goods, some water, and even precious toilet paper. Friends, we'll get through this like we do everything together.
If you would like prayer, text the word prayer to 661-270-7788.
And now a cooking tip from Keith Mowry from Bob's Country Meats. Everyone loves chicken. It's easy to cook in a variety of ways, especially on the barbecue.
Marinate it overnight in your favorite marinade, brown it up nice on the barbecue, and then put it on the other side in direct heat, close your lid, take another 25-30 minutes, and they're good.
Chicken, tri-tip, pork chops, turkey, steaks, even exotic game like buffalo and ostrich. For the tastiest chicken in town, visit Bob's Country Meats on Soledad in Canyon Country.
Dutton Plumbing, it's Eric.
Son, it's Mother.
Mom, where have you been? I left 3 voicemail messages. We're supposed to be working on the Dutton Plumbing recruitment campaign.
Who answers their phone anymore? I text like everybody else, son.
You text?
Yes. Ernesto, my exotic dance class teacher, taught me how to text, among other things.
Wait, what? Exotic dance class? Mom? Anyway, we need more plumbers and techs to apply for work. You know, thanks to our $73 drain clearing, we just keep growing. We offer great pay, ongoing training, health insurance, 401k, even a batting cage for fun. We got to get the word out.
Well, why don't you let people apply for work by text? Make it fast and easy, son. Just like that college girl you used to date.
Mom?
Plumbers and techs. Now it's easy to apply for work at Dutton Plumbing. Just text the word MOM to 25000. You'll be asked some questions, and in less than 2 minutes, you'll be done. Again, text MOM to 25,000.
DuttonPlumbing.com.
KHTS AM 1220 and 98.1 FM Santa Clarita. It's 10 o'clock. Time for national news on KHTS.
Special report coronavirus update. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo announced another day with almost 700 virus deaths, but he says the worst is over if people stay smart.
We are easing isolation. We want to increase economic activity. That will happen essentially through a recalibration of what are essential workers. Remember, we never turned off the economy.
The head of the CDC says Americans are making progress in the fight against coronavirus.
We are nearing the peak right now. I think we'll sometime, hopefully this week, we will be able to say that, you'll know when you're at the peak when the next day is actually less than the day before.
Dr. Robert Redfield tells the Today Show the nation as a whole won't be able to lift restrictions, but county by county, some areas may be able to resume work sooner than others. But he says social distancing and expanded testing are keys to a return to normal. I'm Mike Moss. Spain today launched a potentially dangerous experiment of sending about 300,000 workers back to their jobs. Correspondent Scott McLean is in Madrid.
And it's certainly not without controversy, considering that Spain is still registering about 3,000 or 4,000 new confirmed coronavirus cases every single day. This decision affects about 300,000 workers, mostly in manufacturing and construction sectors like that. In Madrid alone, we're at one of the busiest metro stations in the city, where officials say they're seeing a fraction of the ridership, which is obviously good news so that people can keep their distance. And police are also handing out surgical masks to people coming and going.
The virus has killed more than 17,000 in Spain, second only to the U.S. death toll of more than 22,000. The U.S. has more than 557,000 confirmed cases. The Supreme Court will hear arguments in a teleconference next month in the president's dispute over tax and financial records. The Dow down 2%. I'm Mike Moss.
At CDW, we get that businesses will try anything to increase productivity.
We try to increase productivity by putting energy drink in our water cooler.
Slow down, friend. A better idea is to have CDW deploy new devices powered by 8th generation Intel Core V Pro processors.
I get it. Why can't you talk faster?
For productivity solutions, you need Intel and IT orchestration by CDW. Find out more at cdw.com/be great, make the shift.
This is a commercial announcement. Newsmax TV is America's new cable news channel everyone is talking about. Find it on DirecTV, Xfinity, Dish, Spectrum, Optimum, Cox, Fios, Uverse, Suddenlink, and more. Now, Newsmax is conducting a national poll, asking Americans if they support President Trump during this crisis. It's easy to vote. Just text the word VOTE to 39747. That's VOTE to 39747. Let us know your opinion about President Trump. Send VOTE to 39747. And don't forget to watch Newsmax TV today.
Thanks for listening to KHTS AM 1220, Canyon Country, California. K260CO 98.1 FM, Santa Clarita, California.
Your building sign is essential to getting customers to your location. Feathers can help you get your business noticed. Feathers, now in a new, larger space with plenty of parking. They walk you through each phase of your project with special attention to detail and quality. Feathers will provide you with a sign that you can be proud of. Your sign will draw customers in instead of having them drive by. Visit Feathers online at feathersigns.com or go to Feathers' brand new, bigger location at 26017 Huntington Drive off Rye Canyon or call 298-9442.
As the stay-at-home order continues through the month of April, Burger King is committed to following state and federal safety guidelines when it comes to serving you, the customer. Although in-restaurant dining has closed, pickup and delivery service continues. The current hours are 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. You can mobile order through the BK app for pickup, or you can use any of the delivery services like DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub, and Postmates. Burger King on Lyons at the 5 Freeway, now with service at 2 drive-through windows.
We all know sometimes people lose their way. If you or someone you know is struggling with addiction, the Way Out Recovery SCV may have the answers you've been waiting for. The Way Out is the premier intensive outpatient treatment center serving Santa Clarita. Asking for help is the first step. Call The Way Out today, 661-296-4444. That's 296-4444 for a private free assessment. The Way Out is an accredited, affordable outpatient program that accepts most insurance. Call us at 661-296-4444 or check us out online at thewayoutrrecoveryscv.com. Quit battling with yourself. Ask The Way Out for help today.
Hi, I'm Pastor Rusty with a minute of encouragement. Are you going stir crazy with family right now? Maybe the people you love the most are actually driving you crazy. Well, if you find yourself in that situation, can I give you a few things that might encourage you, might actually help you? 1, sit down the night before and plan out the next day. What are we all hoping to achieve tomorrow, and how could we do that together? 2, plan some time for alone time. Go to 4 corners of the house and find times to be by yourself to just recalibrate your thinking. And 3, when it comes to arguments that might happen, instead of seeking correction and making sure everybody does things the way that you want them to, take a moment to seek connection. Help me understand why you feel this way. We'll get through this the way we get through everything, together.
If you would like prayer, text the word prayer to 661-270-7788.
City Councilman Bob Keller here. Keep it tuned to 98.1 FM and AM 1220 KHTS, hometownstation.com, for the latest information regarding COVID-19. KHTS will have both national and local news and information during this unprecedented time. For more, go to the KHTS website or the KHTS Facebook page. KHTS is also available online in the free app for iPhone and Android. Continue to social distance, only going out if it's absolutely necessary, and continue to check on friends and family. With your help, we will flatten the curve and come through this stronger than ever. Thank you.
The following is sponsored programming and does not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of KHTS or its ownership.
Welcome back. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 on the AM side. This is Matt Watson, your host. You're listening to Eye on the Valley, Homeschooling Answers. I'm very excited because today we're connecting with the leadership at our local community college, College of the Canyons. Our local college is consistently among the best community colleges in California, including in the areas of affordability, community size, and student earnings after graduation, all 3 very important factors in choosing a school. First, we welcome in Dr. Omar Torres, Associate Vice President of Academic Affairs. Dr. Torres has worked at College of the Canyons since 2010, where he first began as the Dean of Mathematics, Sciences, and Engineering. He later also assumed additional responsibilities over the Division of Health Professions and Public Safety. He's currently the Associate Vice President of Academic Affairs, with his primary responsibilities over district-wide scheduling of all credit and non-credit classes, including scheduling of COC classes at the William S. Hart Union High School District via concurrent or dual enrollment classes, scheduling of public safety training courses for the LAPD, LA County Sheriffs, and LA County firefighters. And for several years now, the college has also offered courses and services to incarcerated students at Pitch's Detention Center. Dr. Torres, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Good morning, Matt. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate the opportunity.
Absolutely. So we were talking about it a little off the air. Given the current COVID-19 pandemic, how has College of the Canyons adjusted its offerings of courses to students and the Santa Clarita communities to continue to serve your students' needs?
Perfect. Thanks, Matt. Well, it's interesting. Prior to the start of the pandemic, the college was already offering about 25% or a quarter of its offerings in online. And so when we started seeing the signs that the pandemic was certainly going to hit locally and across the state and across the country, we realized very quickly we were going to have conversations with our faculty about converting our existing face-to-face classes as well as some hybrid classes which were taught in a face-to-face manner on occasion. Those 75% of the courses were going to have to be converted to some sort of either online or remote instruction. And just to give you some numbers, I mean, the college typically offers about 1,900 sections. And so when you think about 25% of those being offered already in 100% online, there was a need for over 1,300 sections to be converted to some sort of alternative modality given the current pandemic. And so it was quite an opportunity to reimagine what we've been doing here at the college. And it has been incredible work on the part of the faculty and our staff to really support students in that conversion. And so what we decided to do for those 1,300 plus sections is we looked at the feasibility of them either being converted to 100% online where possible, and if not, was there some sort of way in which we can provide what we're calling remote instruction. And when we talk about remote instruction, it's the opportunity for the college to ensure instructional continuity during a time of emergency when basically these traditional face-to-face classes cannot meet in person. And so when we utilize remote instruction, there's many different ways that faculty can try to engage their students in some sort of online learning that is in place or in lieu of traditional face-to-face. There's flexibility with regards to the lessons, how they're timed, whether they are synchronous or asynchronous, meaning students have to log in at a certain time, or the instructor can record his or her lecture, post it up to a website or to a shell that students have access to. And whenever they have the ability to access those lessons, they can do so at their own time. Their faculty obviously had to engage in conversation and dialogue regarding reimagining how some of the activities and the assignments and exams were going to be given, given that, again, these classes were not being taught in a traditional face-to-face manner. And there's multiple ways to video conference, email, chat rooms, discussion boards, all these sorts of creative ways that faculty could capitalize upon to continue to ensure the integrity of communication between the faculty member and the students, as well as between student to students in an online or remote setting. And so there was quite a bit of work done on the back end. And, my heart goes out to our faculty. I mean, they have been incredible champions in making this transition, as well as the IT and the MIS staff and other folks across campus helping to facilitate the conversion. It has truly been a team effort. They say it takes a village, and boy, talk about the village coming together to create these additional opportunities for students. It's just been unbelievable, and I'm just so proud of the work that they've been able to accomplish in a very short amount of time. In fact, we just are coming back from our spring break this past week. Right. In addition to spring break this past week, there was a couple weeks ago, where we essentially stopped instruction instruction and allowed for the faculty and staff and deans and others to help facilitate that transition from face-to-face to the remote or online setting. And in many instances, the faculty decided, you know what, we're just going to do it. We're not even going to stop, and we're going to continue with instruction. So it has been an absolute amazing effort. And again, I just can't say how proud I am of the work that our college professors and our staff has done to support our students in our community during this unprecedented time.
That's good to hear, and I do believe, at least from the feedback that I'm getting, that you should be proud. You know, I posted on my social media a couple of weeks ago when you guys resumed classes, you know, just great news, COC is back up and running, and we had a couple of graduates from SCVI who commented really quickly, you know, a lot of my professors never stopped. We've been working all along, so that is great to hear. Now, like you said, there's a lot of moving parts that come into play, from the back end with IT and the administrative support that you all provide, to professors having to shift a large part of how they do things, still maintaining the deep levels of rigor in their classes, because that is of utmost importance, but then shifting can be a little bit difficult. I'm sure everybody's taking it, depending on their subject level, their own personal levels of comfort, they're all taking it a little bit differently. So are there any students on campus at this time?
Yeah, great question. So what we've tried to do as a campus, given the stay-at-home orders from the governor and direction that we've received from our state chancellor's office, we really have ceased with any sort of instruction in a face-to-face manner on campus, with the exception of the Sheriff's Academy. And I point them out because, you know, of course, there's been direction on the part of the state to continue to find efforts to creatively allow for the cadets to continue through any sort of academies that are in progress. And so the college has worked really hard behind the scenes with our local LA County Sheriff to ensure that the current academy that is scheduled through the mid to late June of this summer, that academy can hopefully complete. And so that's the only exception that we're making. We are trying to ensure, of course, that proper social distancing is occurring while the cadets are engaged in instruction for their academy. We've limited the number of days that they are on campus working to facilitate that instruction, but we are again ensuring that that instruction is occurring in the largest gym that we have on the West PE side of the campus, so that we can ensure proper social distancing. But everyone else is officially off campus. There were some unfortunate cancellations where classes, when they were being taught face-to-face, had to be converted to online, and in some instances they had to be canceled for the remainder of the semester. These were lab classes, because just no way that we were going to be able to continue with those classes until we had an opportunity to regroup and reimagine from a safety perspective how the labs could be rearranged, working with staff, ensuring social distancing, minimizing the number of students in a location at one place. And so those are the sorts of conversations that we're having with some of the impacted areas. And thankfully there were not a lot, but when I think about areas like welding, or when I think about construction technology, or I'm thinking about culinary arts where they're working in a kitchen, we obviously have to make sure that first and foremost the safety of our students is the utmost paramount consideration. And so in those instances we thought, you know what, it's better to cancel some of those classes that were scheduled through the spring semester while we can re-envision and reimagine what that space is going to look like if the pandemic were to continue through summer, through fall. We're making alternative arrangements to ensure that those classes are able to continue. And so, you know, when we think about what's coming up for summer and fall, we've been working very closely with our state chancellor's office to look at the prospect, if the pandemic continues, what are we as a college going to do in terms of our course offerings, in terms of addressing some of those areas that were impacted whereby we could not continue during spring with instruction in the laboratory space because of safety and space constraints. And we are planning for those classes right now so that if this continues through fall, we're able to continue continue, for example, with the welding classes, with the construction classes, with our culinary classes, but in a way to where we have smaller class sizes. They're being sequenced throughout the day, and students are coming to campus in smaller chunks where necessary, while minimizing face-to-face instruction, but at the same time, in instances where there may have to be some instruction occurring face-to-face, we're ensuring proper protocol with safety, social distancing, etc. So that's some of the work that's currently being done behind the scenes to address those impacted areas as we gear up and think about summer, and we also think about fall. And Matt, I should also point out that in our schedule of classes, which is where a lot of students typically go to look at what's being planned for the forthcoming semester or term, we have put comments in the schedule of classes where it says, for example, for the upcoming summer, this class may be taught in a remote manner, or it will be taught 100% online, those sorts of things, because we believe in the integrity of how we advertise to our students and to the community and to the public, and we want to make sure that everybody is aware that we are making and formulating contingency plans in the event that the pandemic is still in effect, and therefore we have to adjust what we do to best serve students moving forward.
Absolutely. Such a tricky situation to make sure that that what a degree from College of the Canyons means, and has always been held in such high regard, that it still holds that same level of prestige. And you talk about some programs that don't always pop immediately into our mind when we think of the things that are going on at College of the Canyons. You mentioned your culinary arts program. I know that that folks around the community are constantly talking about what a great program that is, and how they've benefited even personally from that program, the welding program, things like that. It's amazing the things that it's going to take for you guys to be able to shift. But it's good to hear that you guys have got your eyes that far out in advance. You're looking towards summer. You've got a plan for the fall. That's great to know. So you mentioned it yourself that only time is going to tell, how long this is going to go on. So are you guys working with the state from a behind-the-scenes perspective? What sort of statewide support has the college been reaching out to get to help mitigate the impact on students so that this doesn't negatively impact kids, put them behind a semester or even two? And what work is still needed to address the current pandemic as far as, like I said, from a behind-the-scenes perspective at your college?
Perfect. No, that's a great segue, Matt. Thank you. Well, there's a lot going on behind the scenes, as you can imagine. First and foremost, I think it's important for our public to know that the California Community College system, and certainly this college, has been working behind the scenes to advocate with our state chancellor's office the importance of reaching out to our local UCs and CSUs. We want to make sure that the University of California and the California State University system, as our students ultimately potentially transfer into those systems, there has to be an understanding on the part of the UCs and the CSUs, and thankfully they have put forth the necessary communications to the field that they are going to be understanding. So, for example, we have several situations where, obviously, given the current pandemic, we've had to move many of our science classes to remote and or online instruction. And in those situations where we are remote and online, as I alluded to earlier with welding in particular and culinary, it's impossible to do those labs in a face-to-face setting right now because in those facilities with the sciences, I'm talking about biology, chemistry, physics, those subjects where the rooms are laid out in such a way, and those classes are so impacted that we thought to ourselves, well, gosh, the plans that we're trying to make for welding and for culinary and for construction, would those be applicable to the highly impacted and sought-after areas where transfer is a huge consideration in the case of biology, chemistry, physics, etc. So they were tangential, parallel conversations, but somewhat different considerations because of the implications for students that are looking to transfer. And so we had to get guidance from the UC and the CSUs, and thankfully they did confirm with us that in this instance they will accept students that are transferring where their lower division science coursework has been completed in the laboratory sense from a virtual perspective. So we've been engaged in conversations with our state chancellor's office. They have been very, very supportive in working with our college to try to put forth recommendations for particular virtual labs that can be used for or in support of the biological sciences, chemistries, the physics disciplines. And the college has taken even extra effort. So the state purchases this. I love this program. I love seafood, so I think of lobster, which I just had. Well, this program is called Labster, and it allows for the science faculty to use some of the available virtual technology to infuse that in place of or in lieu of some of the face-to-face labs that we were planning on doing, had we not been in the current situation with the pandemic. As our science faculty looked at some of the Labster opportunities, they certainly sought and were impressed with the software, but realized that, it certainly wasn't the answer to everything. And so we continue to challenge our science faculty to look at other potential software programs. And with the exceptional leadership of our online education program here on campus and our MIS and IT team, we were able to look at another package called Beyond Labs, which is another software platform that we are now using in support of the biological sciences, chemistry, and physics. So again, when I say that it's been a team effort to try to work with our UC partners, our CSU partners, so that they will accept the labs that our students are having to do virtually because of the pandemic and ensure that there's no negative impact on our students when they prepare to transfer, that's been some amazing work. Another discipline that comes to mind, of course, is nursing. Our nursing program, and most of our nursing programs across the state are required to be authorized by the Board of Registered Nursing, and our chancellor worked very hard behind the scenes to advocate, in conjunction with our state chancellor and with our governor, to put forth changes in legislation that would allow for nurses to substitute for direct patient care up to 50% of their experience that's normally in a direct patient care facility, to mimic that work as long as the competencies are being accomplished in a simulation type setting. The BRN guidelines prior to the recent change only allowed for 25% of instruction to occur through simulation, but now we are afforded in certain areas within nursing up to 50%. So again, those changes did not happen overnight. It was incredible work on the part of Dr. Diane Van Hook to secure close to 70 signatures from CEOs statewide, pleading with the state chancellor, pleading with the governor to make sure that these changes were made in order to afford students the opportunity to continue with their instruction. So I'm not kidding. There's been a lot of work behind the scenes to make sure that these opportunities are available. We're now in conversations with our state about extending the current spring blanket addendum that we have for substituting in lieu of face-to-face instruction, either remote or online, extending that emergency approval that we have from the state to extend to the forthcoming summer as well as the forthcoming fall terms if necessary. So a lot of work being done, but we're certainly doing it on behalf of students and making sure that we are hopefully a couple of steps ahead of the pandemic to ensure that from a planning perspective, we're ready to go, we're ready to successfully roll out in the names of our students.
We're talking with Dr. Omar Torres from College of the Canyons. That level of flexibility and synergy and collaboration between you all at the college and CEOs and the state chancellor, that is just fantastic. I remember I was a student at CSUN during the 1994 earthquake, and the earthquake actually prevented me from adding a minor to my degree, and that was a little bit frustrating. I can only imagine what some of your students must have been going through, knowing, oh, I just need a couple more labs and then I'm able to transfer into that UC, or I just need to take a couple more classes and then I'll be able to start my career as a nurse. And then all of a sudden this happens and they're thinking, if I can't get on campus, then my plans are just stalled. And you guys are working so hard behind the scenes to make sure that that's not happening. Dr. Torres, I know you've got a meeting to get to, and we really thank you for your flexibility and time this morning. So thank you so much, and thank you for all of your service to our community. We do have to get a couple of commercials in as well, but we're going to be talking to one of Dr. Torres' colleagues colleagues after the commercial break, so please stay tuned. We're going to be talking with Jasmine Rise, Associate Vice President of Enrollment Services. You are listening to SCVI Charter Schools Eye on the Valley Homeschooling Answers. I'm Matt Watson on your hometown station, KHTS.
The best live theater can be found right here in the Santa Clarita Valley. The Canyon Theater Guild has been entertaining audiences for decades with top quality musicals and plays. Located on Main Street in Old Town Newhall, CTG also offers workshops for the young actor in your family. For more information, call the box office at 799-2702 or go online to canyontheater.org.
Hi, I'm Miles McNamara, Certified Senior Advisor and owner of Comfort Keepers and Home Care. Our caregivers help you in your own home. A Comfort Keeper can provide companionship, meal preparation, medication monitoring, assistance with personal care, transportation to doctor appointments, all enhancing your independence and safety in the comfort and privacy of your own home. So if you or someone you love could use a helping hand at home, call Comfort Keepers at 287-4200. That's 287-4200.
As the stay-at-home order continues through the month of April, Burger King is committed to following state and federal safety guidelines when it comes to serving you, the customer. Although in-restaurant dining has closed, pickup and delivery service continues. The current hours are 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. You can mobile order through the BK app for pickup, or you can use any of the delivery services like DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub, and Postmates. Burger King on Lyons at the 5 Freeway, now with service at 2 drive-through windows.
Mission Valley Bank is a commercial bank in the Santa Clarita Valley that really puts the community into community banking.
At Mission Valley Bank, we strive to be a trusted advisor to our clients, and that means being an integral part of the communities we serve. We started the Give Where You Live program to help bring awareness to our nonprofit partners. We're more than just a local business bank. In fact, we're a full-service, independent commercial bank that is locally owned, community-minded, and relationship-driven. I'm Tamara Gurney, President and CEO of Mission Valley Bank. And I invite you to experience the Mission Valley Bank difference, where your success is our mission. We want to be your most valued bank.
Mission Valley Bank has been named Most Trusted Advisor Business Banker by the San Fernando Valley Business Journal 5 years in a row, and received the Business Leadership Award by the Santa Clarita Valley Chamber of Commerce, Valley Industry Association, and SCV Economic Development Corporation. Visit them at their Center Point branch location or at missionvalleybank.com. Member FDIC.
At Advanced Audiology, we know how important hearing is to you, your loved ones, your work success, your safety, and your ability to stay in the game. Most people won't admit hearing loss to themselves or others. We make it easy for you. Today's digital hearing aids come in a variety of styles, including invisible. All feature-rich, providing unparalleled hearing quality, wearing comfort, and automation that simplifies your life. Don't be fooled by our imitators. There's only one Advanced Audiology with the purple sign next to AAA on Valencia Boulevard.
Your hometown station.
KHTS is the only station I listen to.
98.1 FM and AM 1220.
Welcome back. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 on the AM side. This is Matt Watson. You're listening to Eye on the Valley Homeschooling Answers. We're talking with some of the important members of leadership at College of the Canyons this morning. We're joined now by Dr. Jasmine Rise. She is Associate Vice President of Enrollment Services. Jasmine is a resident of the Santa Clarita Valley, where she and her husband, Steve Rise, raised their 2 daughters. She loves living here, working here, and being part of this community, and who wouldn't? Jasmine has worked at College of the Canyons for 19 years now, as she has wisely decided she never wanted to leave college. So why not work at one? She received her bachelor's degree in history from Cal Lutheran, and my regular listeners know that the most interesting people on the planet major in history. She also received her master's in educational counseling and her doctorate in educational and organizational leadership from the University of La Verne, also receiving the Robert L. Brown Award for her doctoral dissertation. Dr. Rise, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. I appreciate you having us.
Of course, of course. So we were talking with your colleague, Dr. Torres, before the break, and we want to talk now about enrollment, as we've got a lot of high school seniors that are starting to look forward to moving into College of the Canyons, and other folks continuing their education. You know, this is a great time. People have got extra time on their hands all of a sudden where they didn't before. This is a great time to go back, and whether it's taking one course or starting to work towards your associate's degree, it's a good time to look into enrolling at at COC. But with all the changes that are happening at College of the Canyons right now, how are students getting help for services like counseling and registration, things like that can be very important for some of your students?
Oh, very important. And we want students to know that we're here for them. I think that's an important message to try and get out. Well, we can't see them face to face. We have appointments online. We have all of our staff who are not only doing Zoom with each individual student, we're also holding workshops in that manner. And of course, available by email. That's a great way to get to us pretty quickly so that way we can turn around and get you the services you need in a fast and efficient manner. We have all of that up on our website right now. So we really want our students to know we're still here. We're definitely here for you if you need anything. We don't want you to feel like you've been abandoned because you haven't. We're all just working from home now, but we're still working for you.
Okay, so you can't see me, but we are definitely here helping you out. That is good to hear. Now, I know something that's become very popular and a heavy part of, before we were quarantined, of backyard barbecue conversations and things like that I always tuned into. I've heard of the Canyons Promise, and I've got to say, as the parent of a current senior, I'm very, very interested in this. Can you tell me and my listeners a little bit more about the Canyons Promise?
You know what, Matt? We actually lost her, but I have her back on the phone now. So if you don't mind repeating that question, we'll get a better answer this time.
Absolutely. Sorry about that, Dr. Rise.
So sorry.
No. That's no need to apologize. We were talking about the Canyons Promise, and I had mentioned how interested I am as a parent of a current high school senior. Can you tell us a little bit about
College First is the way to do it. Woo-hoo. So our Canyons Promise, I know, right? Canyons Promise program is for anybody who has never been to college and wants to go full time. So if you're 83 years old and you've never been to college, you qualify if you want to come full time. So, or if you're a recent high school graduate, all you need to do is complete an application to the college for both summer and fall. And the reason why we have you do both is we're going to have you do a boot camp over summer to get you prepared for fall. So we want you to fill out those summer and fall applications. And then when you do that application, we're going to send you a sign-up form right in the email welcoming you to the college. Now, the greatest thing about this program, like I said, all your fees are paid. So your enrollment fees, your student fees, we'll even pay for a parking permit or a bus pass for you when we get back to campus, of course.
Sure.
And we have unbelievable services for our students in that program. So you have dedicated counselors. We have resources out there for you beyond what is normally offered, like priority registration. So we know you're getting into those classes that you need to graduate. So our students are performing exceptionally well in this program because of all the resources that surround you. We kind of make you part of the campus, and when you become part of the campus, you have a better chance of succeeding in college and then reaching that goal, whether it be your job or a transfer or anything like that. We're ready for you.
I think you're absolutely right. My first couple of years of college, I didn't get myself very integrated into college, and even in classes, I was a good student, but I wasn't succeeding because I didn't feel like I was part of it. You're right. And that sounds like an amazing deal for students and their parents. So how do I know if my son will qualify? How does someone sign up?
Right.
Does everyone qualify? Is it just a fill out the application and you're in? Are there certain qualifications? What other details do we need to know?
There are. So, great question, because for years this program kept changing based on what the state provided.
Right.
The state has changed the law a couple of times, and the great thing is now is if you are if you've never been a first-time college student, you've never been to college before, and you want to go full-time, you're in. There are a few things you have to do to make sure you stay in, but I can't disqualify you, which is the great thing. You're going to fill out your FAFSA. That's a given anyway. You're headed to college, fill out that FAFSA, whether or not you think I make too much money, or I saved for college, so I'm not going to qualify. Fill it out anyway. Let them tell you no to federal financial aid. Don't let yourself tell you no. So that's my big message to students, is get in and fill that out. That's a requirement to be part of the program.
Okay.
Of course, applying to our college, that's another requirement, because I need to know who you are. So, and then I have you sign up for the program. The reason I have you do that is just so I know you want to be part of it and you become part of my distribution list. And that's an easy sign-up form, right? When you apply, you get that email to say, here, sign up here. And those really are the basics. We take you through everything else you need to do while we're onboarding you into the college. So make sure you apply to the college, make sure you fill out your FAFSA, and then when you get that email saying, welcome, congratulations that you're coming to College of the Canyons, fill out that college promise intake form.
Such an amazing opportunity, and it's funny. I'm not just thinking now about my high school senior, but I'm thinking about his older sister who has never enrolled in college, and she could go back if she wanted as well. Wow, that's great that both of my kids might qualify. That is fantastic.
Exactly.
Now, we're living in a time of extreme uncertainty right now, and it constantly reminds me of what I think became cliche a while back, that notion of the Chinese character for crisis, that is the combination of the character for danger and opportunity. But we're currently living that crisis right now. There's some danger out there, but there's also opportunity, right? Now might be the ideal time, because they're being forced to, or because they now have the unique opportunity to change jobs or careers or get new training or just try something out that they've always wanted to. So if someone's thinking about making a career shift, how would they do that? How can they get in touch with you and say, okay, I'm not a first-time college enrollee, so I might not qualify for the Canyons Promise, but I need to shift careers. What steps would they take, and how can you help them?
That is a great question. This is what we're hearing a lot of right now. And you know what? I need this training for computer skills. All of a sudden, we're all on computers.
Right.
Or my job doesn't exist anymore because of this uncertain time. I need new training.
Yeah.
This is it. This is the time to do it, and we're here for you. Whether it's a short-term program, something that you get done in a couple of weeks, a semester, anything like that, or if you want, you know what, I'm going for my degree now, let's do this, then this is the way to get started. You're going to go to our website, www.canyons.edu/new-student. And then we have everything right there for you. And we've moved every single service online. So you don't need to worry about coming in person. And let's say you kind of are figuring it out and you're like, I can't get past this part. It's online and I really need to talk to somebody. We have help buttons pushed along the way. You send out your help flag and we will be there to help you. And we can even walk you through it on Zoom. We have staff ready to do that, doing it every day with people. So it's okay to not be sure how to do it, because we're here to help you with that.
That is fantastic. Dr. Rise, we've been talking today about Stephen Covey's 8th habit, achieving your success and then going that extra mile to help others achieve their level of success. And so I want to thank you for being such a huge part in helping so many people do that. Thank you for your time today and all the information. Thank you for your service to our community. We really appreciate it. We do have to take our last commercial break, but please stay tuned. Christina DeBray, our show's official licensed marriage and family therapist, will be joining us next. And for more information on how COVID-19 is affecting our valley, go to hometownstation.com and click on the red banner. There you'll find tips on the economy, health updates, special business hours, and much more. You're listening to SCVI Charter Schools Eye on the Valley, Homeschooling Answers. I'm Matt Watson on your hometown station, KHTS.
At iLead Agua Dulce, we believe the most important thing a child can learn in school is who they are. Life's real tests are never standardized, which is why we've developed an individual-based curriculum that values exploration, cooperation, and creativity. As our learners grow, so do we. Our tuition-free charter school is currently enrolling grades TK through 7th and adding 8th grade in 2020. Your young learner will be immersed in a unique environment where possibility and self-discovery are at the core of every experience. The Agua Dulce campus features beautiful indoor and outdoor spaces for hands-on inspiration, including a robotics lab, a garden bed, a greenhouse, and a technology-based exploratorium. iLead Agua Dulce is conveniently located on the east side of the Santa Clarita Valley, just off the 14 freeway. Check out our homeschool options too. To schedule a campus tour or learn more about our programs, visit iLeadAguaDulce.org. We're enrolling now. iLead Schools. Free to think, inspired to lead.
Finding the right lawyer can be a challenge, but in Santa Clarita, there's no need to search when there's Hacker Law Group, Santa Clarita's premier litigation firm. Jeffrey Hacker has represented celebrities, financial institutions, accident victims, and other individuals and companies with their legal challenges. Mr. Hacker has been ranked the 15th most influential person in the entire Santa Clarita Valley in 2010 by the Santa Clarita Valley Business Journal. When everything is on the line, call the Hacker Law Group.
Aloha, friends. Go check out Honu Coffee, home of the best cold brew coffee. What makes their coffee special is how their organic coffee beans are infused with nitrogen to create a smooth and delicious cup of coffee. You'll also find traditional bold coffees and island-inspired signature drinks. They're the perfect place to catch up with friends or just relax with your favorite cup of joe. Honu Coffee on Lyons and Walnut in Newhall. Stop by and say aloha.
And now for your convenience, a second Honu location at 23502 Lyons Avenue between Peachland and Apple.
We all know sometimes people lose their way. If you or someone you know is struggling with addiction, the Way Out Recovery SCV may have the answers you've been waiting for. The Way Out is the premier intensive outpatient treatment center serving Santa Clarita. Asking for help is the first step. Call the Way Out today, 661-296-4444. That's 296-4444 for a private free assessment. The Way Out is an accredited, affordable outpatient program that accepts most insurance. Call us at 661-296-4444 or check us out online at thewayoutrrecoveryscv.com. Quit battling with yourself. Ask The Way Out for help today.
Your hometown station, KHTS.
Welcome back. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 on the AM side. This is Matt Watson, your host, and you're listening to Eye on the Valley's Homeschooling Answers. We're joined now by Christina Debray, a licensed marriage and family therapist who's got a remarkable story of resilience and determination. Her strength is really so impressive. We've gotten to know Christina over the last couple of weeks, and she just continues to inspire me, and I hope she's doing the same for a lot of you. She is a trauma and resilience specialist, and so she's a good friend to have during these times. Such an important resource. Christine is a graduate of Cal State Northridge and Pepperdine University who practices here in Valencia. She's studied extensively in areas including trauma, phobias, attachment disorders, suicide prevention, grief, and child and adolescent interventions, among many other things. She's got more than 18 years of speaking experience and works with medical professionals, organizations, patients, schools, parents, and business professionals. Christina, good morning. How are you today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's good to have you as usual. You know, Christina, I'm a people watcher. Had I not gotten my degree in history, I think I would have enjoyed anthropology just because I love watching people and seeing how they respond to different things. You know, I'm the guy that likes to sit in an airport and just watch different people and see how they respond to flight cancellations or, you know, how they treat other people that happen to cross their path. I'm also that weird guy in the elevator that will face you just to see what your reaction is. I'm always fascinated by human behavior, and this is a remarkable time. You know, we're in the midst of a terrible tragedy that's affecting all of us, yet we're all responding differently. I know that some of us have different circumstances. You know, some of us have contracted or been exposed to the virus, or maybe we know someone directly who has. Some have not, but we're all dealing with different things. Maybe we've lost a job recently, or had our hours cut back, or maybe we're just dealing with the tension of being at home all the time when we're not used to. But many of us are responding very differently to the situation. How do you account for that? And then how do we help people process things if they are struggling during this time? I mean, we're all going through this together, but everybody's response is very different, right?
Absolutely. I've noticed that too. So I think that specifically in Santa Clarita, we've really seen a lot of big, scary, overwhelming information happen in a relatively short amount of time. So for the past 12 months, hey, we had all these really bad fires that people lost their homes, people were displaced. I've spoken with people who have lost significant finances or lost their entire business or career opportunities because of these fires. People have dealt with the normal things like getting sick, having cancer, having heart attacks, all that kind of stuff. Then we have the Saugus shooting,
right?
And that was horrible. And for some of those people, the parents of those kids were at Vegas, or
for the shooting in Las Vegas, yeah, the Vegas shooting. And so, how horrible! And some of those people that did the Vegas shooting, and then they might have been in Thousand Oaks for that shooting, or were impacted by that because it's so close. And then now we have coronavirus. And so there are so many huge things. So we've talked before about how we all have this information processing system. This is our highway, and this is how we process and integrate information. So based on how big your highway is and how far-reaching it goes, that's how we're able to process things. So typically our life experience is what shapes that information processing system. So when you've had a lot of experience with a certain type of thing, you develop freeways to specifically know how to deal with that type of information, okay? So just like how we have a truck route, we have a school route or a family route or a career route, whatever that is. We learn how to process that information. So what happens is, excuse me, got a frog in my throat here. When we have something come in that we don't know what to do or how to process it, right? That can more easily become trauma, right? So any one of these events alone, like the shooting, like losing a house, like the community being devastated by the fire, whatever it is, that can be extremely overwhelming to process and can lead to, trauma-related diagnosis, or even on a smaller note, adjustment disorder, which can lead to depression and anxiety. Or for those who have an existing mental health problems, this can exacerbate. This can also exacerbate physical health problems because of everything going on. So what we're seeing now, so when one thing happens, that's called single episode trauma, right? One thing happens. So what's happening right now is that lots of things have happened, okay? All of this for the past 12 months. And now, all of a sudden, people are dealing with these huge things that they may have never had to deal with in their life before. Mm-hmm. And that can really, it can be overwhelming for the information processing system. And so it's already overwhelming for one thing. So this now becomes not single episode trauma, but complex trauma now. And with complex trauma, now we're starting to identify themes. And like, hey, maybe am I bad? Is this why this is happening to me? Is God punishing me? Mm-hmm. Maybe we start to question our spirituality. We start to reassess the world. We start to question the meaning of things. We start to question a lot of things. Okay, then that's individual. Then on the family level, now we're worrying about family members that were maybe we used to only worry about one or two people. Now we're worrying about everyone. We're worrying about immediate problems. We're worrying about long-term problems. And so this is so shocking and overwhelming. It's like
5 million cars got on the freeway at one time, as opposed to like one crazy car doing a high-speed chase and weaving in and out of the lanes that might temporarily mess things up.
Yeah.
So right now we have a lot of it. And some people, especially younger people like teens, don't have that life experience to be able to have those adaptive ways of processing and coping. And even for those of us that do have those adaptive ways at coping and processing, we are now cut off from some of the ways that we used to be able to deal with things. So, hey, when I was stressed out, I used to be able to go to the gym and exercise and work out. And now I can't do that. And I can kind of do that by going out for jogs, but it's limited. And maybe I don't have weightlifting equipment at home. And, hey, it's been raining the past couple weeks, so we haven't really been able to even get outside. Maybe it's going out with friends.
Yeah.
Maybe it's staying in and having the house to yourself. We are prevented from doing so many of those things. So all of these things working together are creating this snowball effect with this doom and gloom going on. And so it's an outer world of doom and gloom, and we're starting to internalize that sense of doom and gloom. And it is scary and overwhelming. And lots of people are coping, having a lot of difficulty coping with what's going on.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. As you're talking, I'm just thinking about trying to empathize with other people. It's such this strange dichotomy. We're all going through this really, really difficult time, and some of us have other traumas and experiences that have either happened in the past or are currently going on, and maybe those traumas help us deal with our current trauma. Maybe our current trauma is, you know, just that one last layer that we really didn't need that made it more difficult. So that experience with trauma in our past can sometimes make it easier for us to cope, sometimes can make it more difficult for us to cope. And then, like you said, we've got these side layers of our other coping mechanisms and the structures that we put in our life that on top of all that aren't in place for us. And so I guess it's kind of tough to say, you know, things are tough all over. We're all dealing with this, and I'm dealing just fine. So why shouldn't you be? We can't really say that, can we? Because we don't know someone's life experience. We don't know their journey, their path, right? So we've just got to be patient and empathetic with others. You know, I think the theme for today is if you're doing all right, stick out your hand and help somebody else. If you're not doing all right, maybe stick out one hand to ask for help from somebody else, and stick out the other hand to still help to help others. We've just got to be a little bit more understanding. So, Christina, it's a tough spot we're all in. Some of us are dealing a little bit better than others, but we never know when we may, you know, make that turn and have that breakdown on our own, or make that turn and say, you know what, I've got this. Let's move forward now. So we don't have a whole lot more time today, but this week, can you help us work through it? Can you help us figure out, you know, for those of us that are struggling a little bit, ways that we can maybe turn that corner or develop new coping mechanisms? Will you work with us on that this week?
Absolutely.
Okay, fantastic. Christina, as always, we want to thank you for joining us, and we want to thank you all for listening. Christina, again, thanks for helping keep us healthy and strong. We look forward to talking to you tomorrow. That is all the time that we have for today, but we do want to thank you for listening. Thank you so much for joining us. I want to thank our guests, Michaela James, our PE teacher from La Mesa Junior High School, who's going to remind us all to stay active and stay healthy and get out there. The sun is shining bright today, so get out there and do your exercise. I want to also thank Associate Vice Presidents from COC, Dr. Omar Torres and Dr. Jasmine Rise. I want to thank again our show's official licensed marriage and family therapist, Christina Debray. I want you to join us again tomorrow and every Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Tomorrow, we're going to get our weekly update from Mayor Cameron Smythe, and boy, do I have a lot of questions for him. A lot of things things have changed this week, and we really need to get some updates from him. So looking forward to having Mayor Smythe in that very first break at 9 a.m. tomorrow. We'll also get some great tips on teaching math, especially for those of us who hate math or think that maybe math hates us. One more reminder, I want to make sure that you go to our website, hometownstation.com, to get more information on how COVID-19 is affecting our valley. Click on the red banner, and there you'll find tips on the economy, health updates, special business hours, and much more. That is hometownstation.com. Click on that red banner. You are listening to SCVI Charter Schools Eye on the Valley, Homeschooling Answers. I'm your host, Matt Watson, and this is your hometown station, KHTS. Stay home, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow at 9.